All right, I'm standing here with Nick from Nashua, who you've got something to rant about, but I haven't even asked you what it is yet. Oh, by the way, Nashua, the most underrated town in New Hampshire.
I completely agree.
In my mind. Well, city, place, whatever you want to call it. Right. But anyway, love Nashua. But anyway, what was on your mind?
Well, I mean, I didn't have anything specific on my mind, but if you bring up Nashua, I mean, that should be one thing I should talk about. Nashua is one of the places I feel really should have a lot more people. My friend Jack Shimmick, we're trying to build a less politically driven, sort of like a civil disobedience keen, but less into getting arrested, more into building the new society within the shell of the old. A
little bit more like an agorism.
Yeah, more of into agorism and stuff like that. Than getting arrested and stuff like that. I mean, that's for some people, but
well, of course, a lot of people are already familiar with Jack Shimmick's work in creating the Alt Expo, which is now at least 5 years old.
Yeah, 5 years old, running
so
strong.
There's
still.
Definitely a track record there.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, Jack's done an amazing job with Alt Expo. I helped him co-organize at PorkFest actually, and did a lot of the announcements. Did a little bit. I actually organized a few events myself with some friends. At last PorkFest, and yeah, he and me are both trying to get more organizations around the Nashville area, and so he's trying to start up what he can. I'm trying to do what I can just to get back on my feet. So I mean, that's in Nashville. One of the big things about Nashville is that it's really close to Boston, so it makes an easy transfer if you want to work down in Mass. Or Nashua itself is pretty good for jobs. I use the website just to find jobs, and I always get constant updates about job opportunities. So,
well, now is your location that you're working on, or your project that you're working on, is that the Hackerspace that I was hearing about?
Jack Shimmick is working on a Hackerspace. I'm not sure how public he's making this, but it is located in Milford. It's called Tech Arts. And I think you can go to techarts.com and you can find it.
What exactly is a tech or a hackerspace?
Hackerspace is basically a group space where people get together and work on projects that they might not have the capital or the resources for by themselves. But working with other people, they can get their projects done a lot more efficiently, quickly, and the benefit is you're doing it with friends too. Tech Arts isn't necessarily libertarian, but there are definitely libertarians in it. And the Hackerspace idea itself is just great.
Is this related to that article in the Telegraph where they were trying to shut down this business the other day?
Oh yeah, I did hear about that.
They were the same business that were trying to
shut down?
No,
it's not the same. It's not the same business. That was a different place. I don't remember where it is. I think it's actually in Nashua.
Some people that were building things, and hey, you don't have all the right permits. You can't engage in commerce without.
Yeah, and I'm of course totally against that. I don't think. The state creates artificial barriers to entry when they have permits like this.
Yeah, and then they gripe that there's not enough jobs.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, because you're not letting people hire.
Exactly.
Because you're not letting them build.
Right. Exactly. And that's another thing me and Jack are really for is like people creating the new society within the shell of the old means that we have to go either around or through or under or whatever these barriers to entry that the state erects so that they can keep their good buddies in the corporations, above everybody else, having privileges and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, you're seeing, right now, I mean, that was the perfect example of this crackdown in Nashville on this perfectly nice business, just for being there and not having all the proper paperwork necessarily.
Yeah.
You got the government doing that to people. You got people that want to build things.
Right.
How do these two come to an accommodation? What's the win-win solution these two can come to with one another?
Between the businesses and the government?
Yeah, something that will benefit both sides.
I think what the government really wants, and their agents really want, is a sense of control. I think they really want a sense of control. And I have a sneaking suspicion that because the Hackerspace is an alternative sort of association, they're kind of cracking down on it because of that, because it's not the typical, business or anything like that. So I have my suspicions that maybe they're doing it because of that. But I don't know. I think. And
it was a Hackerspace in Nashville.
It was a Hackerspace. I'm pretty sure it's in Nashville, but don't quote me.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. I did only read I read a few things that what my friends were talking about, and I saw the headline. I didn't click on the article, but I have no doubt it's true. Mm-hmm. A win-win situation, I think, would unfortunately be for the business to go along with this until they can find a better way. I don't think this organization is libertarian, so I doubt that they would even want to go around it. I think, unfortunately, the win-win situation is more of a win for government than a win for free people. But it's going to be a win-win in the case of government's getting a little bit more of the win, but at least your business is still around. So.
Well, this is unique. Most of the time when I ask people, okay, what's the win-win solution? They say, it's for everybody to do what my idea. It's like everyone should do, the government should give in. That's basically the only answer I seem to ever get.
Yeah, well.
So I appreciate something different.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm trying to be practical here. I know the government's not going to give in. They're not going to just say, oh, well, it's just our mistake. We'll just let you go this one time. No, they're not going to do that. And I think it's good to be practical. It's difficult to have universal prescriptions about what should happen when reality doesn't usually work with you on that.
Right. Well, if the government's thinking, they're not going to fine these people so heavily that they go out of business, right?
Right.
That's the threat that this company can use. Well, are you sure you want one business to go away from Nashua and that to be the headline? Because you overdid it when you punished us, right?
Exactly. So I think maybe even a better compromise would be to make the cost a little bit less, but the business would still pay for it, so that it wouldn't affect the business too much, but the state would still get what they want.
Yeah.
So I mean, I am honestly thinking about a win-win and not just a win-win in the libertarian sense.
Right.
Just in the practical sense. Not that libertarianism isn't practical, but in this scenario, it's hard to see how the government couldn't get anything from it unless they shut down and they go in the black market or something. And again, they're not libertarians, so I don't think they're going to do that.
I've been relatively impressed with the is it the Board of Aldermen or the City Council in Nashville? I don't know how they're structured, but the elected city government in Nashville seems to be pretty accessible and pretty responsive, in my experience.
As an agorist, I can't say I've had too much experience with them. I can't say I'm really looking out to see where they are.
But you can always put a little pressure on them. Well, hey, why are your bureaucrats trying to kick businesses out of Nashua, essentially?
I mean, I think that'd be a worthwhile cause for some libertarians to do, but not for me as an agorist. It's not exactly good to say, I want you to treat these businesses better and then get under the limelight of government, because, not really the agorist way for me. Some agorists might be for it. I'm not really. I'm not really into begging.
When they come for you, you got to use everything you've got that's peaceful to push back.
Exactly.
And that's one thing, is going to City Hall and using their system.
Sure, and I think that's for some people. It's just not for me. I mean, I certainly wouldn't discourage anyone, especially because I really like hackerspaces. So I certainly, especially in this case, wouldn't discourage anyone from going over to City Hall and saying, I'm really excited about these things called hackerspaces. I don't want you guys to shut it down. It could be a good idea.
Oh yeah.
And I'm certainly not discouraging anyone from doing it, but I'm saying, for me personally, I don't see myself walking up to City Hall and saying, oh, please just let these guys go. It's not demoralizing, but it's kind of like, I don't really like begging people whether they can do one thing or another. And it's just that I don't think politicians tend to be very responsive to people, especially not your current day politicians. So that's just my opinion. Again, I certainly wouldn't discourage anyone if they have a good game plan. I don't, so I wouldn't do it. It'd be like, it'd be like letting the fox guard the chicken head or whatever, or chicken house. I don't, I wouldn't discourage it, because they probably have a game plan. They know what they're going to say. They have a can-do attitude. They'll come up and shake your hand. I don't have all that stuff really. And I'm not really looking to do that. So. Just personal preference.
Well, Nick, I appreciate your time and thoughts, and welcome to the action.
Thanks.